Hey guys, guess what? We're going spelunking today! And to start us off, we're going to be manipulating our team a little. I am going to bring Timber along for strength purposes. This means that I have to ditch Ducklet, so unfortunately, when I exit Mr. Alton Cave, I am going to need to come back here by foot instead of just flying back here. Now, I'm going to teach Flash to my Deerling, so it's actually going to do something other than that silly side quest, which we're also going to attend to today now that it's summer. I'm going to get rid of Feint Attack, so we're good. Jellicent has Surf to get to the cave, Deerling has Flash to light up the cave, and Timber has Strength to push the boulders that are in the cave. So, without further ado, let's go all the way to Mr. Alton Cave. And there's a little shortcut here, and they put an item in that shortcut. I don't know why they thought we needed incentive, and it's Poison Jab! Poison Jab TM is pretty much one of the best physical poison moves. But enough about that. Mr. Alton Cave, pretty weird place because of the name. It's much closer to Driftvale, so why is it called Driftvale Cave or something? Anyway, up there we have an item that we can get only with Surf. As you can see, the entrance to the cave is right there, but unfortunately there's a tree blocking the way, so we gotta take the long way around. And I really hope that tree isn't there in black and white too. Not that it matters, but if a lumberjack really wants to make a good deed, cut that tree down, please. It would be very much appreciated. So, we are going to turn over Deerling's summer form. Thank God we get to keep the Deerling, else I would have to use something else for Flash purposes. Though I think Cophagrigus can actually learn Flash, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Anyway, when we get back in, you can see the summer form is right there, so the only one missing is the fall form, which we're going to take care of next month. Now, about that Jellicent, as I told you last time, timid and water absorb on my first try. Didn't get to elaborate on it much, but I'm really happy with the way this turned out. And, level 14. You know what? I'm going to run from level 14 crap, because it just doesn't give out enough experience, especially with the new experience formula. So, yeah, the thing with the timid nature is that it's actually pretty cool, because the speed boost, well, Jellicent is slow enough that the speed boost might actually matter sometimes, since it only has base 60 speed, which is pretty close to my baseline for what is acceptable to use in-game or not. And, another thing, when it comes to Audino grinding ghosts is incredibly easy because their only offense is normal moves. So if you have another move to hurt them with, it's actually pretty easy and things can go by a lot faster if you don't need to switch all the time. Just a little something that I'm throwing out there for those of you who haven't really realized it yet. And I think Sigilif, yep, it's going to hit level 44, which is going to allow me to learn Psychic. So I'm going to ditch Psybeam. Thank you very much. You lasted me a long while, but it's time to get replaced by the vastly superior Psychic. And once again, coming back to something I said last video, I briefly touched upon how, you know, if you don't know any better and you find both the genders of Frillish or Jellicent, you might be led into thinking that it's a shiny, even though the sparklies don't appear when the Pokemon first appears. But yeah, this is I think this is something a lot of people who haven't read about the game beforehand actually fell for. And I don't know if there are any of you who, oh wow, that thing actually lived! But yeah, I don't know if there are any of you who have actually fallen for it. If you did, feel free to tell me all about it, or maybe not, because this may be the kind of thing you want to keep to yourself, depending on your perception of things. So, yeah, we're finally gonna get to grab those items that are behind the Weather Institute that kept my dowsing machine pinging all the time. Oh, tiny mushroom here. This is... Oh, there's something else. Big Mushroom. Yeah, those two are things that I'm going to want to bring to that lady on Route 5 whenever I think of it, which might take a while, because when I get out of Mistralton Cave, I'm probably not going to be thinking of turning over these mushrooms. And wow, there's another one! So, we are now entering Mistralton Cave. And I'm just going to light this place up with Deerling. It's only going to take a second. Does it light up the whole screen? No, but this is perfectly acceptable. It's a bit more than in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, so I guess there's no room to complain. One new Pokemon in this area. Well, two if you count Cobalion, but I'm going to get to that a bit later. One new Pokemon in this area, which is Axew, one of the most marketed Pokemon of Generation 5, understandably so, because it's Iris's main Pokemon in the anime, and Haxorus is her ace in both Black and White and Black and White 2. So yeah, lots of strength boulders in this place that are going to impede your progress, but they're also going to open up shortcuts to get back to the entrance quickly later on. So yeah, it's gonna take a while to go all the way into this cavern, but when the time comes to get out, it's going to go by a lot faster, thankfully. So, yeah, Axew evolves into Haxorus, which really doesn't need any presentation, except for 147 freaking base attack. This is pretty much the main thing it's known for. Brutal firepower. It's also got the same problem Darmanitan does. Speed just below that all-important 100 threshold. But unlike Darmanitan, it fares a lot competitively. Why? Well, because it's a dragon. Let's face it, dragons are OP, and most of them are designed to be OP. The only two dragons that I would say actually do suck are Altaria and Drudigon, but other than that, all the dragons are at the very least great, if not excellent, if not fantastic, if not outright uber. Speaking of Uber Dragons, it's been a while since we've had an Uber mascot that wasn't of the dragon type, and I think it goes all the way back to Kyogre and Groudon, in fact, so cut it with the dragons, Game Freak. Give us something different for a change. And no, don't go back to Psychic. We already got a ton of Psychic legendaries as is. Go for something else, something more interesting, more creative, damn it. So, since this is a cave, lots of PP Waster 10,000s in this place. So what I'm going to do to handle Sturdy while not wasting too much PP, as you can see right now, I open up with a Will-O-Wisp in order to do some damage so that I can then kill it in only one surf. I mean, I don't think I'm going to be using Will-O-Wisp that much otherwise, and using it against a legendary you're trying to catch, or anything you're trying to catch, really, is just not a very good idea. So I was talking about Haxorus, really powerful Pokemon with insane attack power that allows it to break it through pretty much everything. That's not to say it's without its weaknesses. As I said before, only 97 base speed, if only if it were a little bit higher. And it's also a bit on the frail side, with defenses that are about the same as Infernape, which is hardly known for its bulk. In fact, it's pretty much the textbook definition of glass cannon. But, one thing that's really cool about Haxorus is how it has Mold Breaker, so that means that its Earthquake is going to hit notorious levitators such as Gengar and Rotom and others like them. So, yeah, Mold Breaker, pretty good ability if you're given the moves to play it off, and Haxorus does have those moves, especially Earthquake, as I said before. It's by far the best user of Mold Breaker. Rivalry, I'm not too hot on, personally. it's sort of a gamble, because if you encounter Pokemon of the opposite gender, then you're going to lose 25% of your attack power for no good reason, and as a result, well, you don't really want to gimp yourself with Haxorus, because if you take away its massive attack power, there's not much left that you can play off of. So, Haxorus in a nutshell, it needs a little babying. You need to really take care when using it, but when you can use it right, it's going to pay off amazingly. I know it's true for just about any Pokemon, but for Haxorus more so than the rest. Well, not all the rest, but than most Pokemon, I guess I would say, because when played right, it's just one of the sickest thing in the entire metagame, even though like many other things, its usage massively went down with the release of Black and White 2. So, yeah, that's about it for Haxorus. So, the other Pokemon that I've already mentioned that can be found in this cavern is none other than Cobalion, the first legendary we're going to fight in this LP. It's based on the character of Athos from the Three Musketeers, which means it's a drunken, jaded, depressed old man. Well, I say old man. Well, he's the oldest of the Musketeers, but he's still alive during the third book, which takes place 30 years after the first one. And I know I will just have blown a lot of minds by saying third book, because I think it's fairly safe to assume that most people who claim to have read the Three Musketeers, in fact, only read the first book. And many people ignore that the Three Musketeers are, in fact, a trilogy. So, that boulder we pushed right there was a shortcut that leads right back to the entrance, so I think we can move on to the next floor, since we've already done everything on the first one. And, by the way, just a fun little fact, the map that I'm using to go through this place is missing a staircase on the final floor. So, I guess that map was made with iOS 6 or something. Oh, come on, you knew that I couldn't resist an easy joke like that. But yeah, Cobalion, its main flaw is that it has the same typing as Lucario. It has to compete with Lucario for a team slot. And while Cobalion is much sturdier and faster as well than Lucario, it's just not as powerful offensively. And since Pokemon is a game where offense typically tends to be king, this doesn't leave much room for Cobalion to breathe. And you can look at the stats, it's almost non-existent in overuse, but it's fairly used in underused, which suggests that when Lucario is out of the way, Cobalion becomes a pretty decent choice for a team member. So, yeah, that's its main flaw, being in the same typing as Lucario, because otherwise Cobalion is a pretty decent Pokemon. Of course, its offense isn't that amazing, but it has access to an array of support moves that are very uncommon among fighting types, such as Volt Switch, Stealth Rock, and also Thunder Wave. Not many fighting types get these moves, so this is really the thing that makes Cobalion stand out from Lucario. If you're going to use Cobalion, use it more for its support characteristics than its offense, because when it comes to offense, even though Lucario is slower, it's got extreme speed to take care of that to a degree, and is overall much better at the offense gig. And it's such a shame that Cobalion has to be so overshadowed by Lucario, because if you take a look at Virizion, it has to compete with freaking Breloom! Prime Cut, Grade 8, Top 10 Pokemon, and Virizion, until recently, was still overused, which means Virizion could compete a lot better with a stronger competitor than Cobalion could, which is a shame because Cobalion has its own things it can bring to the table. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say about Cobalion, unfortunately. So, I'm gonna kill this thing, and after that, I think we're gonna call it a day here. Yes, I know there's still a huge sector of this floor that I haven't explored yet, so don't worry, I'm not gonna go up these steps quite yet. I'm just going to open up the shortcut. And we're going to explore the remainder of this floor, as well as the final floor next time.